the spring-fed caves in Florida gave me more than enough respect for the divers who venture miles into flooded caverns, sometimes freezing, sometimes in zero visibility water, and sometimes down to extreme depths, in their quest to see and explore beyond the limits of the known world. I have enormous respect for the focus, intelligence, courage, and physical strength required to do it. And as an explorer myself, I understand that illogical but irresistible urge to go as far from the warm, cosy centre of human experience as possible, to get to the very edge of what is known, and then go beyond it. If you've got that explorer gene, there is no thrill greater in life than to see that which has never been previously gazed upon by human eyes. That, first and foremost, drives us. A very close second is to survive and return to tell the tale. In my case, bringing back the images to support that narrative is also a very high priority, just below survival. I've spent thousands of hours underwater, many of them inside shipwrecks, at least 500 of them in diving helmets, another 500 in submersibles. I've spent more time on and, via my robotic cameras, inside Titanic than the ship's captain did. And I've dived to the deepest spot in the world's oceans, 7 miles down in the Challenger Deep. But compared to some of the cave divers in this book, I feel like an amateur. They may differ in background and personality, but they all share the same rare combination of intelligence and grit. They survive the seeming impossible through an absolute focus on the task. They pit their wit and their stamina against the most fearsome physical environment imaginable. They understand the extreme risk they take diving under thousands of feet of rock, where the only way out is back the way you came in, and where there is zero possibility to simply swim to the surface if something goes wrong with you or your gear. They manage that risk to its lowest possible value through intelligence, training, and meticulous planning. But they can never manage the risk to zero. They accept the risk that remains, what I call the X factor, because they're driven by the true explorer spirit. Cave divers are some of the most self-reliant people on the planet. Even if you dive as a team, like Craig and Harry do, you're still alone on the dive. When squeezing through passages so narrow you can't wear your air cylinder on your back, with the rock pressing down on your spine and up on your belly, in water so murky you can't see your hand in front of your dive mask, miles in from the entrance, beyond all possible hope of rescue, you're on your own. The other guy might only be a few feet away, but he or she can't help you. Cave diving is both highly technical and also the most primal human mind against nature challenge that I can imagine. I was initiated into cave diving by my good friend and co-leader of several of my deep ocean expeditions, Andrew White. Andrew was well known in the Australian cave diving community and possibly best known for leading an ill-fated expedition in the Nullarbor cave system, in which the team became trapped inside by freak flooding and had to explore their way through to a previously unknown exit passage. He convinced me to make a fictional feature film loosely adapting that story, which became Sanctum. In the process of producing that film, I learned a lot about the techniques and the hazards of cave diving. I also had to imagine and bring to the screen what it was like to be trapped by miles of solid rock, alone in the darkness with no hope of rescue. So I can extrapolate what it must have been like for those lost boys in the days before they were found and as they waited to be rescued, and what it was like for the heroic divers who went in after them. Harry and Whitey were friends, and hence Harry and I crossed paths on the set of Sanctum and in the deep-sea Challenger factory. When I was reading Harry and Craig's story, I was biting my nails during some of the sections where they take us through the rescue dives moment by moment. Even though we all know that it ended well, it's important to remember that they didn't know that in the moment. Every decision they made was literally life or death for those trapped kids and possibly for themselves. I was particularly struck by the soul-torturing ethical dilemmas each man faced as medical professionals. No one had ever drugged a child into unconsciousness, put diving gear on them, and then dragged them out through miles of flooded tunnels, including constrictions so small